Hi everyone, so welcome back to the Psychic Sleuth channel. So today I'm going to explain to you why I decided to do this one. I know that she's been found and everything, but she's been bugging me. I'll go into that in just a minute. So, anyways, the ways to support me are down below in the description box. If you want to schedule a reading, if you want to join one of the 3 platform readings that I have coming up, there'll be 6 people per platform, so it won't be as long. You'll have better chance of getting a reading. It's $25 for that, and you would just make the payments and email me at thepsychicsleuth@gmail.com. If I need more spots, I'll just add another one. It's not until March though. It gives everybody a chance, but you might want to get there's 5 slots open for the first one now. So if you want in, just let me know. But all the other ways to support me are down below. So as you guys know, I'm rehashing old cases. I'm going back to old cases with the cards. I'm learning and growing and expanding on my gift as far as using the cards. This was a spirit idea. This is not my idea. If you don't like these videos, I don't really know what to say, but the cards are an extension of me, and they are to just give more information, extra information that we may need on a case. Now, this morning, Suzanne came to me. It was almost like she was comparing her case to Jen Dulos in a way. And I was like, because I was thinking about both of them. I was half asleep, half awake, that kind of feeling. And she kind of made me, compare the two. Like, both the guys were in it for like the money in the long run type thing. That's how she made me feel. Not that they were in similar places per se, but the situation was similar. So then today, as I'm driving, she comes in, she's like, I need you to do the cards, I need you to do the cards. And she's showing me somebody in handcuffs. So I don't know if she's trying to say that it's very possible that there could end up being a arrest soon or an arrest soon. So she came to me, showed me someone in handcuffs. She showed me that over and over and over, and she's even showing it to me now. So I don't know if she's trying to say like there's gonna be an arrest or something's gonna come out. She's mentioning February now, so I don't know. She was very pushy and adamant, and I kept telling her, okay, I'll do it, because it was a day off, but I had to run errands, and I was tired, and I almost didn't do it. But she's been very, very pushy today, and she was never pushy like that in any of the readings I ever did with her. She was actually all over the place in the readings I did with her. I don't know, maybe since she's found she's understanding things more, or she wants, I'm not really sure. And there's something that came out in the cards and I'm like, I don't know, it might make sense now. So I think she wanted it out there of who was responsible, allegedly. And again, this is, everyone is innocent until proven guilty. This is for entertainment purposes only. These are only crime cards, tarot cards. Well, I call them crime cards because I don't really use the tarot with this right now. This is all alleged, okay? So I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. I'm just going to tell you what the cards say, and I think everybody has an idea. But a lot of people want to say that he's innocent because of another DNA. I mean, somebody else could have been in the car. I mean, DNA can transfer many different ways. So, I don't... She wanted this out, okay? This wasn't my idea. This wasn't my choice. I don't decide to do these the way that they're done, and the and how they're done, and the because I know she's already been found, so there's really no point for me to do it, and I usually don't. But again, I'm revisiting old cases for extra information, and because she's been at me since this morning. Like I said, I usually don't have spirit come to me this way, but she did. So she's being very pushy for some odd reason. I'm not really sure why. At all. I don't get it. But she's been coming at me since this morning. All right. And these cards are kind of interesting, but needless to say. So there's that. I'm following her orders. Let's just say that. All right. Okay. But she keeps showing me over and over and over somebody in handcuffs. I just see that the hands like this, they are male's hands and they're older and they are in handcuffs. She keeps showing that to me over and over. Even right now, it's like something that's repeating. And I know that when things happen, when things repeat, it's very, very important. And it's usually something that's going to happen. I don't really know when, but she's pushy for a reason. So there must be something getting ready to come out in some shape or form. I know that there's an investigation going on, and I am in no way trying to hinder that. I am not a cop. I am not any of that. I am just following directions from Spirit because she's being a really pushy one. All right, and she was never really clear on her location. So I don't know how long she was at that location, because according to this, it looks like she was somewhere else first, if I'm reading these cards right. That's also what I need to mention, is that cards are a matter of perception. It's no different than when you do readings, and the visions are a matter of perception. It's the same thing. So we can always misperceive the visions. We can always misperceive the information. We can always misperceive the cards, okay? The Spirit has me do this for a reason. It's to help get a little more information. I can channel a little bit more off the cards, and we've noticed, like, doing this with location, with Dylan, and with Jen Dulos, I've gotten very clear information, even validations with the Spirit, with the cat balls, where I've seen the locations, like, more clear that I didn't see during the readings. All right, so there's a reason that Spirit has me do everything. I just follow. I'm not in charge. All right, because I was actually originally gonna do Lacey, and Suzanne popped in, and I was like, okay, Suzanne. All day I've been telling her, okay, okay. So, I don't know. All right. All right. So we have, and I may get extra information. If I get extra information while I'm doing this, I will let you guys know what that is, okay? Because sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm intuitive with the cards, sometimes I'm not. It all just depends on if Spirit's here when I do them, if they want to show me what they want to show me, and if I'm able to receive it or not. I usually have to have somebody to bounce off of when I do readings, and if I do Autowrites, sometimes they're all over the place. I've gotten better with them not being all over the place, but sometimes other cases are involved in it. Like, and I always tell people, like, names and stuff doesn't always necessarily mean the person. I can get, I'm gonna edit that out too. Anyways, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started with the cards. I actually feel in this, I felt this before, that she was in a controlling relationship, and I feel like a lot of it revolved around money. So I don't know if, she's a very strong woman. I do know and understand that she had fought cancer, and she was fighting cancer, and that she had fought very hard for that. And I feel like a lot of that was for her kids. Like, she wanted to be around for her kids. I don't know why my ear is hurting again. That's why I'm wondering. You know what? I was going to tell you guys on the Cali Boys video, my ear, they felt like altitude, I guess. My head felt spacey, like, how, like, when your ears don't pop and your head feels spacey, or you're starting to get sick. Like, I thought I was getting sick. I took a bunch of vitamins. The next day I felt fine. It was really weird. So I'm just wondering why there's 3 readings that my ear has been affected where it's been hurting. And I don't know if it has to do with altitude, water, or what. I'm not really sure, unless there's another reason for my ear hurting. In terms of having something to do with her passing, which I'm sure we're going to find something that's going to have to do with the head, because the moment that I got on here to do the video, my head started hurting. So I'd be curious if she touches the ball or not, but it's definitely, my ear is, like, hurting really bad. So we have assault. Oops, I guess I have to put up my new, see, she's got me all flustered and everything. I can't even. All right, so we have the assault card for the first one. Take that as you will. I do feel like there was assault. The death card is after the assault card. Now, this is interesting. And I had wondered if maybe he was poisoning her, allegedly, or somehow drugging her in some way. Now, this could go with the dart gun, right? Because there was darts found, which just came to mind, which I totally didn't know about till recently, and she's bringing that up. So this could also be that. It just makes me wonder if he made it to where she couldn't get up and run, to where he made it to where she was incapacitated. Okay, so that's kind of what's kind of coming to mind as I'm pulling this card. And again, she's very strong today. She really wanted me to do this. So what's interesting too is the firearm card. If we watched the last reading I did, which was live, and I don't know really how accurate my live readings are. That's why I kind of want to go back on some of the ones and redo them, the ones that haven't been found maybe. because I know that I pick up on chat and it's a little distracting and whatnot. So I'd like to go back in and kind of do regular readings the way that I do them now. I didn't know that at the time, but anyways, I was picking up a firearm, and I guess there was a 22 round that was found. So I find that interesting. This could have to do with the round that was found, or this could have to do with the fact that there was one used, because he did like to use them. And I'm getting that vision again. See, I kind of forgot what I got in her reading, because I do so many readings, you guys. I don't remember what I get, especially when I'm channeling. I don't go back and listen a lot of the times. It's like I do it and then I leave it. And so in this instance, I think I remember a pillow going over her head and a gun going off, allegedly, a pew pew. I don't know what you're allowed to say. So I found it interesting that I got that. So I got the hijacked card, and I take that like her life was hijacked. That's how I'm taking this card, because it came in by itself, and it came in it came in with the unconscious card, so it could be that she was hijacked when she was unconscious. Again, if he did something, and again, so we could say also that the firearm card could also be the dark man card with the drugs and the poison. It could go for either or, depending on what her COD is. But and in a vision, it could have been the same thing, but I don't know. I still feel a firearm's involved in some way, shape, or form. But so it's interesting because the hijacked unconscious cards came in together. So maybe she was hijacked when she was unconscious, like her life was hijacked when she was unconscious, like she wasn't conscious. And then we have the red rum card. And then again, we have the drug card. So it makes me wonder if she was drugged in some way, shape, or form before this happened. Okay. That's just something that, we've got it twice. So these cards make a lot of sense to me. And then there could have been an assault earlier in the day, but assault can come in many shapes and forms. It can happen, just before something happens. I'm having a hard time breathing right now. All right. When I say the assault card, so it makes me wonder if he ever choked her or anything like that, allegedly. Because all of a sudden I feel like my throat is like, all right. So these, the who did it card is kind of straightforward, but it's also kind of like, huh? Like, really? I don't know. We'll see. Threw me a little bit. Okay, so we have child and caregiver. So I take the caregiver card a lot of the time if there's not a nurse or somebody involved. Like, again, it's perception and how the cards fall. You can take them different ways for different cases, and they can be surrounding the case. It can be like the areas can be where they were before, surrounding the area, things where, like, if there's trash thrown or evidence thrown, and ends up in the landfill, like that card can come up. So you have to keep that in mind too. But so we got the child of the caregiver. So the caregiver, again, I take as who takes care of her kids or parents. So the child of the caregiver, I take that as a parental figure card as well, depending on how it falls and who the suspects are. We have couple, but the couple card comes in. I must have touched the cord. So we have the royalty card and couple card come in. Well, now I take the royalty card sometimes. Like, it got royalty and affluent, so they actually, were well off and whatnot. Or she was well off, we should say. All right. So, but they were a couple that was kind of like maybe royalty in the area, or you could take the royalty card again as someone that was. All right. I keep hitting the stupid. I guess I'm not allowed to touch the cord. All right. So I'm gonna put that over there so I don't touch the cord. All right. So then we have a male who's also affluent, which they're married, so he also has money. Okay. So a male affluent who is basically a terrorist, which if he was being abusive, if he was being controlling and anything like that, anybody that is like that type of person is a terrorist in so many ways. Again, I get the terrorist card a lot, and I think it has a lot to do with, like, anytime anybody's committing an act like this, it would be considered that. So hiding out retired, we haven't seen much of him, so he could really be hiding out. I don't know if he's still working or not. So I feel like the friend card, he comes across as a friend. Like, before any of this happened, like, you would have never think that he would do anything like this, allegedly. Like, he comes across as a friend. Okay, so that's the way I take that. But he's actually a bad guy, the way that the cards come in. Okay. Um, he's thought of as a friend, but he's actually a bad guy. I found this one interesting, the aliens card, because it's actually by like an alien lookout was where she was found. So even though it came in this spot, I found it interesting because, you know, I separate them and do them that way. A lot of people don't do them that way. That's just the way I prefer to do them, and the way I feel that they're most accurate. Who knows? I may switch it up later, but it's working good for me. So I just kind of find it interesting that she was by like an alien lookout tower, and that card came in. So then we have a parental figure. That's a grandparent. So I take the grandparent card as, even if they're not a grandparent, older. I take it as an older male. Okay, someone that's older, like, older, could be a grandparent age, but that's a devil in family dynasty. So whenever I pulled like the family dynasty before and we've seen it validated, it was that they're in the family. This is like a family situation. So that's how I take it. Okay. And then we have law enforcement. So I noticed that sometimes when I pull the law enforcement cards, it's usually whoever law enforcement thinks it is, or law enforcement knows this person, or law enforcement is investigating this person. It's not always it's not always they're involved. Again, it's how you perceive it. So that's how I kind of take this card. And they know, like, he's a terrorist. Okay. He's a burglar. I feel like he stole money. I feel like he stole money from the charity. I feel like he stole money, and I just heard that. I feel like he stole money, period. And that was a big part of why this happened, in my opinion. It was money related. We'll pull cards and we'll see, and we have spouse. This is what threw me. Now this could be the cover up after, and this could be why, allegedly, her kids don't think he's involved. Or treat him the way that they do. This, I don't know if I'm understanding this right, but it says other people involved and child. So I'm just going to leave that up for your interpretation, because I'm not wanting to start any kind of drama, or anything like that, or point any fingers in any way, shape, or form. That's just what the card says. Okay. So basically we're saying this is a caregiver or child that's, the male that's in the couple, because we have the couple card, the royalty card, and the male that's in that couple. That's how I'm taking it. It depends. Again, this is how I'm reading the cards and perceiving them. So we have a caregiver or child that is in the couple that's a royalty, so they have money, but he's the male in that, and they're affluent, but he's a terrorist, and he's hiding out or retired. He acts like a friend, but he's a bad guy, and she was found by the alien thing, but he's the parental figure and the grandparent, so an older male, but he's the devil in the family dynasty, meaning he's in the family. So, and then the spouse card, the terrorist, the burglar, and the rest. Okay. I think those cards right there were the main ones that she wanted me to do this video for. Just saying. So, for the area where she was. Now, this makes me kind of wonder. It makes me wonder if she was somewhere else first and then moved later. So, we have the bones card, which she was found. I don't know how many years it was later, but she was probably mostly bones. Or now we have the fire card, which means that he could have burned evidence. Right. You have the frozen card. I mean, wasn't she found in winter? I don't know, or what? I know it gets really cold out there, so at some point she would have been frozen. We have power supplies. I don't know if there's power lines around there. This one I found interesting. Motel hotel, because he went to one for a period of time. So it makes me wonder if that's the reason that this card is coming up. I just found that kind of interesting. But this is where I'm wondering if she was somewhere else first. So it goes inside mountains. I lived in the mountains, and plus Colorado is mountains, so regardless, the mountain card's going to come up. Private property. hidden outside. So again, it makes me wonder if she was originally somewhere else. Crossroad. I don't know if there's a crossroad where she was found, or this is like where she was before. Then we have portal, which I am taking the portal card as she was missing and no one knew where she was, and no one, you know, everybody looked but they couldn't find her, like almost she was lost in a portal. That's kind of how I take it. There's something with the throat going on. Landfill, so he did go to many different dumpsters, and that's another reason why she was showing me earlier in this morning when I was half awake about the Jindu loads and her kind of interconnecting being similar, was because they both kind of went to different trash cans in different dumpsters. And I also feel like those two personalities of the males, Fotis and him, are very similar. They're very similar type people. So I don't know if there's a river. I know that there is a river that runs around there. So again, that can be just in the area. And she was lost for a while. But it was also said in the story that she was lost. So again, cards can have multiple meanings, just the way other things can't. But wooded area, now I take wooded areas any type of like clumps of trees. It doesn't mean like it's a forest. Okay, so if there's any trees around there, because wooded area came in twice with the different cards. Oh, I must have, you know what, Libby jumped on here and they must have got mixed up a little bit. The wooded area is supposed to be down here, but that's okay. It doesn't make a difference. Desert. Buried, and I don't think she was fully buried, or she was buried a little bit but not deep enough, because then we also have above ground. So I feel like she was buried, but she was found mostly above ground because of the animals and stuff. In nature, dumped with the vehicle, and she was frozen outside. So you know, because the winters and stuff, I mean, that could be definitely why that came up. But basically, it looks like he tried to bury her, but he didn't bury her deep enough, so she ended up being above ground. Like she rose, you know, she wasn't buried good enough and hidden good enough. All right, so as you guys know, I had to pause and pull more cards because I ran out of room. So it looks like my vision's probably going to be right in regards to the handcuffs. All right, and the whole money fraud thing I was saying. All right, so we have cover up. We have mental health, because I do feel like he does have mental health problems. Anybody that acts the way he acts allegedly does. There was drama. And I feel like he was watching certain things about like her. So that could be like, say, I guess she was having an affair. Like he could have been watching that. He could have been watching like moves she was making to cut him out. That's what I just heard. So this part was interesting, the cult. Now, it was said that it could just be that he has those kind of views or he's involved in something like that. But I mean, there was a church reference too. So it just makes me wonder. Some people have said that that area is kind of like there's a cultish kind of group, and that might be why things are getting covered up and whatnot. I don't know. I just found that interesting that card was pulled. So you have the intoxication card, and the cult too. It can go with, I guess, what your belief system is. You know, the intoxication card. I think I got that twice in here, so I'm thinking that he was under the influence, or at least drank a lot, or that it was a factor. Down the rabbit hole. So got to go down the rabbit hole on this case. But there is a strategy, and with that strategy, it's going to be solved. So there's my handcuffs. But there was manipulation. I feel like he was very manipulative towards her. He's a very egotistical guy. Parties involved. Oh, I think they're going to a wedding. So that could be the party thing. See, I try not to know things about the case, but we already know these things, but it's helping kind of put it together. But I think the false flag is that other DNA. he's a flight risk. Like if they find out he's coming, he's gone. Just so you know. Gift. I don't really know what that card means. It could mean a lot of different things. Like there could be a gift of, I don't know, because the evil corporation is here. So that makes me think about his work and also maybe how he was doing some things through her business. But you know, I look at his work as like an evil corporation, but it looks like there's an investigation into that. They might be investigating him for some kind of white collar crime came in later. So I was just gonna say for some kind of financial things. It seems to be a witness of some sort, and that could be that could be after the fact, whatever. There's a paper trail somewhere. But interesting because the paper trail comes in after work comes in after paper trail. So there's some kind of paper trail with work, I feel like, in regards to money and partly part of the motive. And there's unseen danger because this was going on and I think a lot of people didn't see it. Truth comes out. So again, my vision, but there's a warning. There was a cleanup. We know that. Love was involved at some, you know, they both had affairs, I feel, and but you know, at some point they did care about each other. So this is just the fact that they were, you know, maybe that was another thing, like she was going to leave him and he didn't want that. There's a ritual involved in the way that things were done, but there's something that's top secret. There's a top secret meeting. So I don't know who he met with or whatever, but these come in together. I kind of want to take them together. A top secret meeting. There's also a secret involved, like a big secret. Success. I mean, he's pretty successful. But there is going to be delays. It could be that there's delays in success if you take those two cards together as well. So intuition, she might have had a feeling about this. He takes it as revenge. Revenge for a lot of different things in the relationship. Again, white collar crime. So stalking, he could have been watching her, most definitely, seeing what she was doing. Stalking comes in all different kinds of ways. He could have been looking at her phone, whatever it may be. Greed. Very, very greedy. There's lies. Of course, there's lies. There's lies all around this case. Government involvement. So I always tend to get this. It could be that the government's looking into him on a higher level. You know, we don't know about, because last time I got this card, I think it was like Secret Service tracked phone. So you never know any part of the government. I got the confession card. I actually got that twice. I don't see that he's one that would really confess unless he's like faced with something he can't deny. And it might be that that's what happens, but because it comes in twice. But looks like this was explosive. There's something explosive that happened. And I do feel there was an argument before this. It might be there an argument, and then she went to bed, and then he was drinking, and then he decided to do it. That's kind of my feeling on it, like how it kind of comes across. Not that he didn't ever think of it before, but that's kind of what's coming into my head. And I think I've heard an argument before, and my head hurts really bad. But I think I heard an argument before with this, and so I think there was some kind of argument, and there was maybe a lot of arguing back and forth, and then it was like, I'm going to bed, and then he just decided like he'd been drinking. I don't know. That's the way it comes across. But there's false accusations, and that can be even like not necessarily towards him. It could be, you know, the other DNA or her fiance or whoever. The false accusation. I think there was accusations towards like his girlfriend or whoever he was seeing. I don't know. But there's debt and fraud. So actually, I feel like he was in debt, or maybe his work was in debt, or something was in debt, and he needed the money. She was going to take it and go. She was done, and he's into fraud. Like I'm telling you, the dude, he's in some way, shape, or form into fraud. FYI, because that was coming in before I even pulled that card, allegedly. All right, so we have the FBI. I'm wondering if they're going to set him up. In this, again, it's how you take it. So I got FBI, but then I got setup. So I wonder if they're going to do like some sort of setup somehow, shape, or form. And they might even get him in on something else. I don't know. And then work it from there. But see, again, we have money involved. I'm telling you. Big part of this and a big part of the motive was money. He wasn't gonna be getting anymore, just like Fotis. That's why I think she was telling me this morning, like Jun and his like situation. Jen and her situation are very similar. They're both the men were very similar, both egotistical, both narcissists, allegedly, both manipulators. I'm pretty sure that they both drank, you know, and they both wanted the money. That ended up being a big thing. Maybe that might not be completely how it started with photos, I think so, but maybe not with Barry, but who knows? They were together for a while, but it's like it became about that. And it might be because his own work and business was in trouble. Like that kind of comes in because we have the confession card again. So I don't know what he's going to confess to, something. And then we got investigation. Like the investigation might prove that he's guilty. Footprints. I don't know if they have any footprints. We got the government card again, and again, all sorts of governments. They use that. They could be using some sort of secret service or some sort of other kind of government thing to look into phones, look into other stuff, and they might find something. And again, alcohol. So something like alcohol maybe play a factor. Maybe he again got they got in an argument and then he decided he's going to go drink. And then, we know what alcohol does to emotions. It makes everything 20 times worse. It makes us not think straight or clearly or whatever. So he could have definitely at some point been under the influence. Maybe he just drinks. I don't really know. But he could have drank that night to drown his sorrows. We have justice. Okay. So my vision of handcuffs is hopefully going to be validated according to this. So we have killer worked in the area. He did. Cell phone records may prove important clues. See, I told you there's an argument. The second, third time that's come in, argument or fight is a strong factor. And I was supposed to put 3 of those, but I pulled this one and it made sense. This case will remain unsolved until key evidence is recovered. So they're going to solve it eventually, but they're probably trying to find some key evidence. And that might be some tests that they're waiting on, because I'm hearing, it's almost like I'm seeing, how she's showing me, this is interesting. So she's showing me how they're in a lab and they're doing DNA testing and all kinds of other testing. It's almost like they're doing the testing on that. And I see reports. So it could be that the police are waiting for certain reports to come in. And so they're waiting for certain evidence, but I also see a piece of clothing. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but she's showing me that as well. And I feel like I need to cough. So for some reason, I feel like my chest is also or I can't breathe. And it could be she was being smothered beforehand, because I'm kind of getting a pillow over my face like I got before. Maybe she couldn't breathe prior. A pillow over, the gun or whatever. It's kind of all seems like it's all involved. The drugs and or the I don't know if he actually used a dart gun or regular drugs, but they could go the same. And then it's almost like I keep seeing the pillow and the pew pew. So it could be that she couldn't breathe beforehand, because I'm kind of feeling that. But it's she's showing me they're waiting for specific evidence. But she does keep showing me the handcuffs. She keeps showing me a man's hands with handcuffs. So, and it does say here it's going to be solved. The truth is going to come out. But I think they might even do more on white collar crimes or some kind of fraud or something he was into. They might even get him with that. I would check, if I were them, paper trails, which they probably are, financial records, things like that. They need to deep dive into anything that he was in charge of, whether it was the, for her charity or whatever it may be. They need to deep dive into whatever he was in charge of, whatever he put his hands on, because there's some kind of fraud involved. And I think that maybe she knew about it, and that might have spurred an argument, besides the fact that money's involved and he's greedy and he didn't want to lose any money. But I think this came in before of she confronted him about something. So I think he was either stealing from the charity or stealing from something. It's almost like that's how it, and I'm getting more of a headache with that. So there's definitely something with her head, you guys. The moment I turn on the camera, I got a headache. But it's almost like she's kind of showing me that there was an argument, like she confronted him about something. And it's almost like there's an argument, but then she goes to bed. He drinks, he gets mad, drinks, and goes and does just. That's the way that it keeps coming across. And I keep getting this happen in the bedroom, in the bed, and there's a pillow involved, there's a pew involved. Like, I keep getting that. That's what I got in her reading, and that's what I'm getting again. That's what she's showing me again, and she's making my head hurt. And again, she's the one that brought me to this reading. She's the one that made me do this reading today with these cards. So she's the one that's giving me all this information in regards to this. And I haven't went back over those readings in a long time. So again, I realize that a lot of this stuff is out there. I don't deep dive into cases. I don't research cases. People will tell me things, and I'm like, okay. So if I say it, it's because it comes to my mind and because she's bringing it to my mind. There's stuff that spirit will bring up for validation or to say, yeah, that's right. That's just the way that they work. So there's a reason that she wanted me to do this tonight. Like, I was not allowed to not do it tonight. Like, it had to be done tonight. It had to be done now. That was it. No getting around it. But I'm thinking that they're waiting for a piece of evidence or something. And I think like phone records and all that are going to prove helpful. And I know, like, she's giving me more of a headache, but she keeps showing me butterflies. I know that they have the butterfly thing for and all of that, but she still keeps showing them to me for some reason. She's been showing them to me on and off throughout this reading. But they're like blue. I wonder if there's gonna be like a baby in the family or something. Because it's weird. She's like, show me blue butterflies, but then she's showing me like a female pregnant. And I'm just wondering if like it's like one of her daughters is pregnant or gonna be pregnant. That's kind of weird how she's bringing that in, because the butterflies are blue. So weird. And I feel like it's more like the multiple people involved maybe after the fact. And I'm sure he's spinning a story. I feel like regardless of whatever comes out, if he goes back, if they get him and my vision comes true and he goes back, then it's almost like he's going to spin a story. He's going to spin a story because he's manipulative and he's a narcissist and he never does anything wrong and everything's going to be Suzanne's fault. That's what she's saying. Like, everything was my fault all the time. Like, and I feel like he's got like and he spins stories, but he's a bad liar, but he spins them anyways. Like, he can spin whatever story he wants. He's a good manipulator. He's a master manipulator. He's a good manipulator. And I think he thinks he's good at lying, but he's not really, and he's going to slip up, or he has slipped up. Like, that's the way it comes across. So there's some sort of slip up that he's also had in an interview, and maybe he's changed his story or he slipped up somewhere, because that kind of comes in as well. Like, it's almost like she's saying he's going to sign his own DEATH warrant. Like, there's something that he's done, said. He tried to be smooth about this, but it's almost like he's not going to be as smooth as he thinks. I just heard ballistics. I wonder if she was shot. I don't know if that. See, I've always gotten the pew pew. Now, in visions, I'll see it that way regardless. Especially if it looks like one, and it came up in the cards. Like, I don't have one for like a dark gun, so I don't know, because she always makes me feel like it's a regular pew pew. And I just heard ballistics, which would be dumb of him to use, but I guess if he was drinking and upset and he wasn't really thinking, and then maybe he got rid of it and he wasn't thinking anybody was going to tie it to him because he didn't have it anymore or whatever. I don't know. It's kind of weird that I just heard that in my head. She's being very strong because she knows I'm not going to really touch on this again. Like, there's not really a reason for me to, because she's been found and now everything else is left in the hands of the police, which I do feel like they're doing their job. I think a lot of people think they're not, but they are. I can tell you they are. They're trying to gather the information and the evidence and investigate, and because they want to make sure, the reason why they let him go is they want to make sure this is like airtight. They don't want him getting off on a technicality. That's the way that it's coming across from her. Like, she's saying that it's happening that way for a reason. is that they don't want a technicality to get him off or him get free and they can't retry him. So that's why they're like, it's almost like she's showing me someone going over everything with a magnifying glass, with a fine tooth comb. Like she's just showing me that. Like somebody looking at paper with a magnifying glass. Like they're going over everything very, very, they want to make sure everything is by the book, she says, because they don't want him getting away with this. Because I feel like the police don't, it's almost like the police and the prosecution, like they don't like the way that he's jerked them around and they want him going down for this. That's what I just heard. So even though it doesn't seem like anything's happening with the case, there's things going on behind the scenes that are happening. That's what she's saying. And maybe that's another reason why she wanted me to do this, is that she wanted people to know that like this is gonna provide justice according to the cards and according to my vision she keeps showing me of hands in handcuffs. And somebody being put into a police car, that this might happen. I mean, there's a reason she's pushing me for it. She keeps taking me to February, but there's a reason she's pushing me. It might happen sooner than we think, but it's almost like they're waiting on, I feel like it's his DNA. I feel like it's other evidence. And he's curious if there's ballistics involved. I don't know that. She's showing me like it's interesting. She's showing me a skull, like a skull, and it's like cracked or, you know, something's happened to it. That's what she shows me. Which makes sense because my eyes hurt. My eyes, my head, my teeth, like she's making my whole head hurt. So that's kind of interesting that she's showing me that. She's never showed me any of this before. And maybe she wasn't fully crossed. Maybe she didn't really know how to understand or explain where she was. Maybe when I did the reading, she was somewhere else and then moved later, because it's almost like maybe she was. And then when he thought the coast was clear, he did it. So maybe they need to look at, I don't know, the other car or a different timeline. I just heard like maybe there's a timeline issue and they need to check a different timeline. Or look, you know, that's kind of how it's coming across. Like maybe he took her a different day, so you need to check a different day. Like maybe she wasn't there. It doesn't come across like she was there the whole time. That maybe she was somewhere else before. Huh. I always kind of thought that because she never really showed me the desert, but I didn't do a reading like recently. I think my last reading was like, but I could have been completely wrong too. I mean, I can only give what they show me, and its location is like not my strong suit. It's really hard for me. I'm hoping that eventually it gets better, but it's something that's not easy for me. But I also feel like I can't breathe, like I'm struggling to breathe. So there's that feeling too, like I want to cough, but I'm kind of coughing because it feels like I got sand too, or dust or dirt. And obviously she wasn't alive when she was put there, but it's still, I will feel it and I will get that. So I kind of get that too with like when I'm coughing, it feels like it's like a dusty cough. And I keep getting referenced like a sheet and then plastic. And I wonder if he was trying to make it look like I don't know if like that area has some sort of like, if there's been bodies found there before, so he thought he'd make it like look like somebody else did it off the road. You know what I mean? Like someone took her and dumped her off the road. Like that's how it comes across. Like he's tried to make it look like it was something it wasn't. Like that's why it was there, because it's off of like a freeway. It's almost like, because you know his whole thing was, oh Suzanne, please come back. And that was, sorry, allegedly fake. Like, so it's such fake emotions. Because he's showing me that right now, so it makes me wonder if like he tried to make it look like she was dumped by somebody else allegedly. And like he knew that bodies have been found there before. Something, I don't know, that's so weird. But she's saying like things were supposed to happen this way, like And I hear a karmic, like she shows me the Wheel of Fortune, which is like the karmic wheel of justice, or like the Wheel of Fortune is like things moving in the way they're supposed to. And so sometimes, even though they were looking for another lady, they found her. Like that's just how it was supposed to play out. People get found how they're supposed to be found and when they're supposed to be found. Like there's a timing to it. But she's okay. She's okay. There's someone gonna have a boy. It's gotta be like one of her daughters or someone she's close to or something, because she's also holding a baby on the other side now, and it's wrapped in blue. So that might be another reason she was really pushy with this. Like she wanted that out as well. I don't know why 55 is coming in. I don't understand that number. But I hope that's it. I don't even know what I've said this whole reading. See, I normally don't channel like this, but since she pushed me to do it, I figured that that's probably what would happen. So anyways, I don't think I'm getting much else. Oh, my head hurt. It's interesting. Like she's showing me like this, like a skeleton skull with that in it, though, like something with the head. It's either a crack or like a hole, but it's definitely like she shows me like the crack, and even if it was a hole, it'd still cause a crack. So she's like showing that. It's showing me that. So crazy. And also, I don't know why she's showing me like her wrist, like a broken bone in her wrist. I don't know if that has anything to do with that knife. That's somebody else. I don't understand what that is either. Anyways, so I hope she got what she wanted out. I hope that she said everything she needs to say. You know, I feel like I love my girls, I love my family. She's talking about her brother. So I don't know if, again, her brother was, I feel like her brother was an intricate part, and I feel like her family knows, like, they know and have the feeling of, you know, that who did this, and they're not going to let it rest. And she knows that she's talking about how her brother like looked everywhere for her, and I keep seeing him like climbing mountains and stuff. So that could be symbolic, like he climbed the mountains to try to find her, or he was actually climbing mountains looking for her. But like she's blowing kisses. Is she with her dad on the other side? Did I hear someone will have to validate that, because I'm not sure. Like, did he pass or something? She's with an older male on the other side. She's standing with him. And he feels fatherly to her. So again, I don't deep dive into cases. There's a lot of stuff I don't know. It's like I do the reading, we get a couple validations, and I leave it, and then I do so many cases I forget all the details, so I don't know. I'm just telling you guys what she's showing me, what she's saying, regardless if it's known or not. It's almost like she's with Jen. Because it's interesting, like I was thinking of both of them this morning, like together, and it's almost like because their stories are so similar, the guides are so similar, the situation's so similar, you know, maybe they're helping each other in some way, be the voices for other victims, like domestic violence kind of thing. And I feel like she showed me domestic violence ribbon. And I don't know, like, if that means it could just be emotional. It might be something that they stand against. Did she have breast cancer? Is that what she had before? Because she's showing me the pink ribbon too. And it's hurting like below my rib cage all of a sudden. I don't know why, but I'm getting a sharp pain there. Anyways, I don't know. I hope all of this makes sense. I feel like we will get what we need out of this case. I feel like justice is going to be served. The karmic wheel of justice is going to turn in our favor for Suzanne. This was something that rocked that town, and I feel like the investigators are doing their job and doing the best so that they can make sure that this gets solved and Suzanne gets the justice that she deserves. And I think that people just need to be patient, let them test all the evidence, let them try to figure it out with the timeline and everything. So I think that's basically it. I don't think I'm getting anything else, but yeah, like I said, sometimes they channel more when, especially when she was pushy, like there's things she needed to say, I guess, and she chose to come to me to say it. So I feel very honored for that. So anyways, thank you for being here, liking, subscribing, sharing. I appreciate you so, so much. And until next time.